Welcome, 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 fighters, bards, and wanderers alike to another exciting adventure with the Knights of Prospect. I, of course, am Vil, a knight-to-be and best shot in the Riverlands. I am joined today by Ronaldo the Bard, Raz, the worshipper of Enteresh the Shepherd, and Chauncey the Child Wizard. We're going to be led on an adventure today, of course, by our game master, John Serpico. And you yourself can join us in the comments today if you are joining us on twitch.tv/Knights of Prospect. Take us away, Game Master.
All right. Let's get chatting. So, the past few weeks for all of you have been arguably the most eventful of your entire lives. And that's saying something, Vil, because as an elf, your entire life has been quite some time now.
Yes.
What happened a couple of weeks earlier kind of triggered all of this excitement. Chauncey, as a reminder to everyone, used some rare growth magic that he discovered on a scroll in the forest to grow 50 feet tall to chase down, with the rest of the party, thieves that had stolen a parcel meant for Archmage Basia of the Arcane College. So the party tracked down and liberated this parcel from the thieves. And within the parcel was a powerful set of artifacts called the Sigils of the Immortal Battalion, which Archmage Basia saw you all playing with when she eventually caught up with you on the back of a griffin. And then a week after that, Ronaldo the Fourth's father, Ronaldo the Third, tried to pass off the guidance and ownership of the family fortune and lands onto him. Ronaldo, you then, of course, publicly refused it. But at the party, you learned that Sally Leclerc, one of the great scions of Tower Town's wealthy noble families, had one of the sigils of the Immortal Battalion that you all just recently gave back to the Archmage. So why this wealthy person has this artifact that you stole from thieves to give back to an Archmage is kind of a complicated political situation that you've all been investing a bit of time in over the last several days and weeks to get to the bottom of. But the fact of the matter is, these are indeed strange times. But Chauncey, I'd like to start with you. A couple of weeks ago, Archmage Basia insisted on meeting with you. Really, essentially, she more or less called you to her office while you were 50 feet tall and she was on a griffin. Archmage Basia, being the Lord Protector of the Arcane College, is simultaneously, Chauncey, the dean of your school and also your mayor. So you really couldn't refuse Archmage Basia's invitation. So what I have to ask is, how did that meeting go? Was she mad? Was she not mad? What was it like?
Well, obviously she was very impressed. She had never seen someone of my age grow to such a height before, and she made it very clear that it was something impressive and somewhat of, she used the word feat a lot. She kept saying feat, and I'm like, I know, I am a feat. And after the initial very exciting part, I offered to show her some more spells, and she kind of just put her finger on her lips, and then she started looking very, very serious, and she started asking me how I did cast that particular spell, and I told her that I found it in the forest, beneath a very tall and very dark tree, and then she just told me to leave, and I said, well, I could show you more feet, I could make you grow, and then she shut the door. So I would say it was the best meeting I ever had with her.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty fair assessment. And the interesting thing about Archmage Basia is there are knights and royal retainers and other students at the college that would kill for a meeting with the Archmage. But you didn't have to. All you needed to do was use forbidden magics to steal back artifacts that were meant for her. The meeting was more or less exactly as you laid it out. She, frankly, did not want you showing her any of the magic that you thought you knew. The really unnerving part, though, well, it'd be unnerving for anyone that you told, but you didn't tell anyone this, is your book, Chauncey, that book of magical power with all the pages that are blank. After you learned that growth spell, that forbidden growth spell, it is now completely replicated in the book. It was formerly completely blank, and now the first 2 pages is this incantation to cause a living thing to grow to monstrous size. So you have a feeling, in fact, an absolute certainty that if Archmage Basia knew that, she would take your book away. So that's just a secret between you and the unnerving, powerfully magical book you have. Everyone else, actually, one more thing. Before Archmage Basia kind of, hurried you out of her room with her thanks, she also asked you for something. What was that something that she asked you for?
She asked me that if I heard any weird whisperings around the college or the town, she asked me to just tell her right away, to either send a message or even to go try to find her in her office, and to try to listen out for those. But you hear weird whisperings all the time, so I'm sure that's fine.
It probably is. You're at an interesting age, Chauncey, where the kind of the machinations of adults are not necessarily too complex for you to understand, but sometimes they're too complex for you to necessarily care about. Archmage Basia is the most powerful person you know. And the fact that she's asking you to keep an ear out, it kind of struck you as odd, but you didn't really want to unpack it. But you probably will if you hear anything. So let's talk to Ronaldo now. Ronaldo, about a week ago, you publicly refused becoming the new patriarch of the Mackay family. After a very successful party and in light of all of the adventures, including the most recent one with the giant child wizard, your father made the decision that you were mature enough and trustworthy enough to take on the cumbersome work of managing a large noble estate. You, of course, refused this as soon as he offered it at the party at the estate. So the question for you is, did your father accept your refusal, or did your father not accept your refusal?
He did not accept my refusal. He is insistent that I am still to do it, and I am insistent that I avoid him at all costs.
The way he has been approaching this over the last week has frankly been really some impressive politicking, where he will have a page in the house tell you that one of your friends or Laurel Leclerc is there in the sitting room and you have business to discuss. And you get down there, and the second you're in there, it is in fact your father, your mother, and their business associates, and they close the door behind you and essentially strong-arm you into taking business meetings.
He's pretty stubborn, but I am also stubborn.
Yeah, what's aside from just flat out avoiding your father, what other approaches have you been taking to prevent yourself from getting enmeshed in the family business?
Oh, well, after he tried to literally lock me into a room and try and strong-arm me into publicly changing my refusal, I've been also scheduling meetings with him and not showing up. I've been trying to actively get him to go somewhere, and as if I'm going to go there, and then I will send Laurel Leclerc, telling him that he needs to discuss important business or other things as such. We're basically in a cat and mouse game at the moment. One time he tempted me with a feast, and I almost fell for it. Because I was hungry, and it was Wednesday, and I eat feasts on Wednesday. It's just what nobles do.
You eat so much on Wednesdays, Ronaldo.
I don't know. It's just, it's how I was raised. It was just how I was raised.
It's, this is essentially, at this point, a proxy war between your personal secretaries and administrators and footmen. There's just notes being passed back and forth and schedules and misdirections and
I committed a crime. I tried to commit a crime to literally be exempt from doing it, and he paid off the prison warden because he was so mad. It didn't work. I thought it was foolproof. I stole a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Which was then repatriated into a fund for the poor. And you like your stock rose in Tower Town because of it. It's been pretty exhausting. And because of that, and Chauncey, as interesting as it was to meet the Archmage, your week was also fairly exhausting. So the two of you, Ronaldo and Chauncey, are heading over to the Elkcrest farmhouse, because that's where Vil and Raz have been camped out for, at least a couple of days, doing some rather interesting stuff. So the Elkcrest farmhouse, as we all remember, is essentially a large kind of public house for hunters, trappers, and guides, with a very healthy kind of public garden and a skill sharing program. It's all run by Wilma, the kind of the curator and caretaker of the Elkcrest farmhouse, which is just outside of Tower Town. And Raz, you're there. You have obviously your flock and your parish, but you found that it's been rather rewarding to also administer the sacraments at the Elkcrest farmhouse as well. So you've been stopping by there with frequency. And Vil, you were there today along with Raz because you spent the morning doing some teaching yourself. And now both you and Raz are sitting there being taught something else. There's someone else within kind of this collective that is teaching. So, Vil, what are you both being taught? And Raz, how is this person teaching it?
A few weeks ago, we ran into an unfortunate incident in the forest where our good friend Gregory Shitbeard ate a mushroom that affected him poorly. So we're enjoying a nice moment today where we can learn a little bit more about how to recognize mushrooms, and I can get a little bit better at telling the difference between mushrooms that are fine to eat and the mushrooms that will affect us.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and the class started with the teacher writing things on a piece of paper and having us read them. I found myself to be more of a visual learner, and I expressed my sentiment in class. And so now the teacher is having people sample each and every one of the mushrooms and kind of experience the effects for ourselves.
And that's
having the cures on hand.
I'm an experienced learner.
It's really a good class. I highly recommend it.
I want each of you to just roll 2d6 plus your constitution. So as this is Dungeon World, on a 6 or less, it's a failure. A 7 to 9 is a partial success. A 10 plus is a full success.
Okay.
7?
That is a 9 for me.
Partial successes. Okay. So let's describe. I would have asked you for both the name of this mushroom and what its effect was, but instead I'm going to just ask for the name of the mushroom, and I will tell you what the effect is. So if one of you wants to share the name of this mushroom, I'll tell you what it does.
It's called a girdle wall.
It's bright orange.
So it's bright orange, and with the name Girdle Wall, you would think that seeing it would be kind of this, like broad mushroom, with that's like heavy and all kinds of stuff. But no, it's really thin, and they come in clusters. And the reason, though, why they're called Girdle Wall is they are meant to, if ingested properly, to, shall we say, halt certain biological processes for a number of days. Essentially, if there's nowhere to go, it's okay because you're not going to have to go for a while. So, you both have it and you experience some pretty wild cramping, but you kind of end with that one. So yeah, you're kind of feeling oddly full, and and kind of are just enjoying the day when Ronaldo and Chauncey eventually come by.
Hey, friend, did Raz pass out?
Yeah, he'll be okay. He's just taking a nap. He does that a lot after he eats.
Okay. Eat. Ooh, mushrooms. That's nice. Is Chanterelles? Wow, those are nice. Put those in some risotto. Just
Oh, what's risotto?
I don't know.
Oh, it's very delicious. It's a delicious rice-ish dish. It's food. It's food. It's good food.
Oh, I love food.
It's great.
Chanterelles are great.
Welcome, Ronaldo and Chauncey, to the Elkcrest farmhouse. What can we do for you today?
Well, it seemed like you guys were doing some pretty cool stuff here. You got a lot of mushrooms going on.
We are.
Yeah. I'm mostly avoiding my family. Chauncey is a child.
My ears are wide open for whispers.
Well,
Have any of the mushrooms been whispering anything? So you see,
Absolutely.
I'm basically I'm basically a lieutenant now of the school, and it's really important that I listen for any kind of dark seeds, magic stuff you guys wouldn't understand. But let me know.
Oh, of course. Well, I don't think any of these mushrooms have been whispering to me. We were taught to avoid the mushrooms that do that.
Okay, and I take out a tiny notebook and I write down that the mushrooms have not been whispering.
No.
That's good. You should definitely share that with an adult.
The instructor.
I taught a class earlier this morning, though, Chauncey, and there were two students that were whispering to each other.
What? What were they whispering? Phil, come here.
What?
Why were they whispering?
What are you guys talking about?
Why were they whispering?
Well,
Chauncey, you're whispering.
Why don't they don't want them to overhear?
Raz,
What were they
Raz.
whispering? Raz, what were
wake
they
up.
whispering?
Raz.
Did he have an allergy to the mushroom?
No, he's fine. He always naps after he eats.
How many mushrooms did you eat?
Raz, what were the
Huh?
kids? What the kids, the young humans in my class this morning?
Yeah.
Do you remember what they were whispering?
What they were whispering? They were talking about giving everybody wedgies, if I recall.
Oh, that's right. Yes, they were
Yeah.
talking about giving everybody wedgies.
I take that out and I write that down. Could you describe these two delinquents?
One
Oh yeah,
had,
absolutely.
Yep.
Oh.
mhm,
Well, it was Gordy and Chaucer over there.
They're right there. Yep.
Chaucer. That's so
Right
close
there.
to Chauncey.
They
Maybe it's a
are
point.
right this moment, in point of fact, giving a fairly nasty wedgie to a young fisherman that is on one of the tables in the back doing some scaling.
Well, that guy's called Spickle, and he probably deserves it.
Oh,
Spickle.
Spickle?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Elkcrest farmhouse is a very kind place, and when people are in trouble, the people of the farmhouse really kind of gather around to help. No one is helping Spickle. Spickle knows what he did.
I feel like
Yes.
Spickle was primed for failure with a name like Spickle.
I sense
Well-
a dark presence from Spickle.
That's his new name.
Oh.
Because that's the only kind of fish he ever brings in.
Wow. What an asshole.
And
Yeah.
around this moment, Hobie, the duck that Vil is your business partner, best friend, and comrade,
Yeah.
does something that you don't think he has ever done before. He was in your sling that you wear. He used his bill to unhook the sling, hop out of it, and sprint towards the door of the Elkcrest farmhouse.
Hobie! Where are you going?
Yeah, Hobie!
I start playing some music in the background on my mandolin as like chase music.
And
Akin to that traveling play, the Benny Hill traveling play.
I instinctively start running after Hobie exactly to the rhythm of the music.
Yes, you're all.
I'm going to sit in place and just yell Hobie over and over again. Hobie!
Hobie shoots you, Raz, a meaningful look, and then turns around and makes a beeline for the door.
Raz, what are you doing? He says to follow him.
Oh, okay.
Get up. Nap time is over.
All right, here we go.
So, outside the Elkcrest farmhouse, well, Vil, describe to me what the outside of the Elkcrest farmhouse looks like.
Mm-hmm. Well, on one side, it looks more like your typical farmhouse. There are, animals, crops farther out than that. And on the left side, it's a bunch of training materials. We've got hay bales. We've got targets for target practice. We've got even sometimes an obstacle course that I help Wilma set up for young rangers.
Yeah, it's really a wonderful building and a gift to Tower Town and the Riverlands more broadly. Hobie sprints out and heads towards the side of the farmhouse that looks like a typical farm with, kind of farm animals and pens and some rows of crops. And, there are people working out here pretty much all the time. Those in the Elkcrest Farmhouse Collective that are magically inclined are pretty much constantly keeping the plants healthy and ready for harvest. But Hobie gets to the edge of, a row of corn. There's a whole section with rows and rows of corn. Yeah. And he starts quacking very assertively down one of the rows. And Vil, you see kind of between the rows of corn a figure you've never seen at the Elkcrest farmhouse. She's tall, wearing, kind of black traveling clothes, and she's kind of kneeling down on the ground. Vil, you know enough about tracking people to know that she does not expect to be seen right now, but you are looking right at her.
What? Hobie, who is that? Do you know her? Oh, well, okay. I'll introduce myself. Hello.
You call hello to this person about maybe 20 feet away. She looks up at you with piercing eyes, stands up, pulls a vial from her pocket, and throws it down onto the ground. She stomps it and breaks it with the heel of her shoe, and starts taking off in the opposite direction.
No! Oh, I chase her!
All right, so Vil, you take off after this woman.
Tackle her to the ground.
All right, we will deal with that in 1 second. Ronaldo, Raz, and Chauncey, you instinctually look at the thing that she threw on the ground. It was a vial maybe about this big. But when she stomped on it, it cracked apart and a wispy black smoke, like black and gray smoke, started kind of emerging. Ugh. And like tendrils wrapping itself around the stalks of corn.
Oh no!
And as the tendrils of smoke did, you see the corn starting to rot and die.
What the heck was that for? You just got tendril anti-farm? I don't know. We should figure out what's happening, guys. I was really trying to think of something witty. I'm fairly distracted. I'm really sorry.
I agree. I can't think of anything witty either. Can I discern realities?
You absolutely can.
I take a second to try to think of something witty, and I don't.
Boy, those tendrils sure aren't tending the corn, right?
Yeah, tendrils.
Hey,
More like-
12.
That was a good
Whoa.
one. That was a good.
Yeah,
that was
that
a
is
good
a good
tendril.
one.
Tendril pun. I
It's
liked
much
it.
better than what I was gonna say.
Yeah, your dice, reinforced by the quality of that pun, respond well. So with Discern Realities, you get 3 questions, and if you use the answer to any of these 3 questions, you can get a +1 on future rolls. So what 3 questions from the list do you have about what's going on here?
What here is useful?
So you realize that what is going on here is obviously magical, and the sense you get is it's a mix of some kind of necromantic magic or some general kind of fouling, harming magic. So the most useful thing here in regards to the smoking desiccation tentacles is probably you as a priest of Entourage.
Oh boy. What are the other questions? Sorry, there's what is about to happen.
Yeah. So the questions are: what happened here recently? What is about to happen? What should I be on the lookout for? What here is useful? What here is not what it appears to be? And who's really in control here?
What here is not what it appears to be.
The person sprinting off is not some trickster or bad apple. Essentially, what was in that vial is some powerful stuff, and some random thief or criminal probably wouldn't have access to it.
Okay, and what is about to happen?
If you don't intervene, that choking black and gray magical smoke is going to kill everything in this field and start working on the animals.
Ooh, I have a bad feeling about this smoke, guys.
What do you think we should do?
I think I'm gonna cast Divine Protection over the crops.
We will get to that roll in a second. Let's cut to the chase. Literally, Vil, you are sprinting down rows of corn after this woman who is quick. So I want you to roll. Well, I'll put it to you this way: the easiest thing to do would be to try to beat her in a sprint, which is 2d6 plus your dexterity. But I am open to other ideas if you have any.
Oh, I have an idea. I've got my rope on me, as I always do. I'd like to tie it in a snare and see if I can loop her like a lasso.
I love it. You pretty much have one shot at this, because after this, it's just going to be a full foot race. But I love it. So that's still going to be actually, this is going to be a volley roll. So you're attacking with a ranged weapon. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be 2d6 plus your dexterity. But because I like the idea, I'm giving you a +1.
Yes. Okay. Oh, 7.
Okay. So
I lied. It's an 8.
Nice. A more firm partial success. So you kind of are booking it, running along, between the rows, and kind of you're unlimbering your rope and knotting it, and you hurl it. You hurl this thing at her, and it snags her kind of around the shoulder. It wraps around like her head and one of her arms.
Ah!
And you kind of pull it and yank, and she slams down to the ground hard. The partial success comes into play now, though. You're kind of taking a minute, and you're like, oh, that was a good throw. And you look down, and you're standing directly above that vial of choking black smoke that is now starting to work its way up your legs. Vil, I need you to roll Constitution.
Do I roll? I roll a 2d6 plus Constitution.
2d6 plus Constitution.
10.
Okay. You have the kind of the strength of Constitution and the presence of mind to move out of the way before this thing starts kind of eating into your legs. You realize, though, in the half second you were in this stuff, that it already started eating holes kind of in your clothing and in your arms. And
My boots!
these boots will need at minimum a resoling. But you kind of clear it and start kind of striding towards the woman that is on the ground trying to get herself out. But she hit the ground hard. You're pretty sure that she's seeing stars. Ronaldo or Chauncey, anything you want to do as the smoke begins to expand?
Chauncey, do you have like an ice spell or a cold spell? Like, can we recondense it into liquid so we can contain it?
I do not. I will use my own. I will spout lore about this particular contaminant.
Awesome. All right. Roll 2d6 plus your intelligence.
Aha! 5!
Okay. What do you think you know about this stuff?
Well, you see, Ronaldo, this is actually a lot like, I think, what you were trying to describe before. This is a kind of risotto that has been prepared in a vial, and then it's sort of like an instant release. When the plants don't like it, you see, they drink water.
Chauncey, it's fine. And then I look, I believe you're correct. In some parallel dimension, I'd like to look around for some sort of thing that I can fan it away from the people. I know it will go further into the crops, but it will at least protect the farm, and like the inhabitants of the farm.
Yeah, there's, this has all happened so quickly that people haven't even kind of left the farmhouse to see what's going on. But everything here is what you would expect to find at a working farm. So, Ronaldo, what do you think fits the bill? If you can imagine it, you can find it.
Ronaldo has no idea what happens at farms, so he goes over immediately to the stable, and he just hopes that there's a piece of wood that's big enough that he can pick up and. Because he's like, I don't know what a tool is. Maybe wood's around.
Yeah, there's the lid of a well-joined barrel that's
perfect.
A couple feet across and it's pretty heavy, but you can do it. And so you grab it and you sprint out and you start trying to fan this smoke away from the people and the animals. So let's have you roll 2d6 plus strength, because this is a bit of a feat of physical exertion.
10.
Awesome. Here's what I'm gonna do.
I know what farms are like. They have barrel lids. Ha ha!
So the way I'm gonna have this effect work is, Raz, it's going to give you +1 to any spell you cast against this stuff, and you already have a +1 from the Discern Realities. So you have +2 on any roll, and I believe you want to cast Divine Protection.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's roll it. It's going to be 2d6 plus your wisdom, +2 on top of that.
I also begin to try to blow it away.
Just like that. Keep it going.
8.
8. Okay. So the good news, there's good news and bad news. The good news is that you kind of reach up to the skies and ask Enteresh for his divine protection, and Enteresh grants it to both you and to the crops in the immediate area. The problem, though, is that so there's kind of a growing concentric circle of crops that are dying. But it's kind of contained to like maybe a 5 or 10 foot radius. The problem, though, is that it doesn't seem to be going away. It's almost like you captured it in this blister of smoke, but it's still just kind of there. And the eerie thing about it is, the smoke occasionally forms into like a tentacle and smacks against the side of the bubble you built around it before kind of dispersing. Ronaldo, your fanning, and Chauncey, your blowing is providing, if nothing else at this point, moral support. But it is now definitely there and needs to be dealt with. Vil, let's switch to you. You have sprinted out of the smoke before the bubble was dropped on it, and you make it up to the woman that is on the ground. She's kind of halfway out of the snare, but you end up kind of putting a knee on her, and she doesn't she clearly has a knife and she was thinking about using it, but eventually she kind of stops and puts her hands up. All right, I yield.
Good choice. My name is Vil. Welcome to the Elkcrest farmhouse, you skink. What are you doing here?
Did what I was hired to do, and it's already done.
Who hired you?
Do you want to talk to me, or do you want to deal with that smoke? You look up and you see, Raz kind of holding his hands out, like pouring divine energy into this thing. Chauncey blowing like crazy, and Ronaldo fanning it with a barrel lid.
I'm helping!
I'm helping too!
All right, if that's your choice, I'll deal with you second. I'm going to flip her over and hog-tie her so she can't go anywhere.
Sure, you don't even need to roll for it. You
No,
kind of
it's
get
not
her
my
on
first
back.
time.
Yeah, you have hogtied all sorts of things with all numbers of legs. So
Thousands.
This
Thousands
comes
I've hog-tied.
this comes pretty easy to you. This is your 1,001st hogtie, and so you get up and you kind of join the cluster of people.
Can Hobie keep watch? All right. Don't go anywhere.
So, kind of the gang is now assembled around this. At this point, it looks like half a snow globe filled with the darkest snow you've ever seen.
Phil, did you just hogtie? Was that what I saw over there?
Yeah.
Is that your 100th hogtie?
I wrote you a card for my notebook. It says, Happy 1,001st hogtie.
Thank you for
And
remembering.
I drew a little pig.
Congratulations.
That's really nice that you remembered, honestly. Thank you.
I know you're excited about it.
I was. Thanks. I was really looking for an excuse to hog-tie someone all week. So this is just great. All right, what we got here?
We got
It
death
appears
smoke.
to be some kind of necromancer smoke, tendril-filled beast, maybe?
Necromancers really freak me out.
They're weird.
Would I be able to cross through this bubble of protection and take a swing at it, see if it has some sort of... I mean, it's gas, but if it's an evil creature, maybe we can kill it.
Yeah, you can give that a shot. So
I don't
essentially,
want to poke the bubble. I don't want to accidentally make it spray out.
Yeah, you kind of give you've worked with everybody long enough that you can communicate fairly well with each other with kind of knowing looks, and Roz is kind of holding the protective bubble, but he doesn't stop you from approaching it. So
Okay.
yeah. So how do you want to attack this thing?
I first want to kind of study it with a manual of movement to see how it's moving, to see if I can ascertain if there is sort of a core to it that I could attack, or if it is just magical energy that needs to be annihilated, or something else.
Sure. 2d6 plus wisdom.
Wonderful. That's another 10.
Yes. So I will tell you a valuable piece of information about it that can be exploited. So this thing does not appear to have corporeal form. The fact that it has tendrils, you are led to believe it has tendrils because it wants to have tendrils. You're not sure if this thing is necessarily intelligent or not, but it apparently has a purpose, and that purpose is to just kill living things. So you realize, based on kind of how it moves and the the erratic nature of the tendrils kind of smashing against the protective bubble, that this thing doesn't have a body, which means you can't physically attack it. But you think you could probably, you or someone else could probably do something with magic.
Hey, Chauncey?
Hey.
Do you want to try something with fire?
Okay.
Do you want to blow it up inside the protective bubble?
Oh.
I can't. There's no way I'm gonna stab this. I feel like it's a bad idea, and maybe blowing it up's a bad idea, but it will be gone.
I would love it to be gone. I do not like tendrils at all.
Not a big tendril fan myself either.
No. Awful things. So I've just learned that it has no physical form. Does it appear to be made of shadow?
Yeah, some kind of shadowy smoke. This is as kind of Raz ascertained, and you kind of confirmed upon after you eventually realized it's probably not risotto. It's some kind of necromantic smoke.
I would like to. Well, everybody, I understand that growing was a lot before. I'm not gonna just grow and stomp on it, even though it's probably the best idea. I would like to draw my training sword from Vil and cast light on my sword.
Oh.
Sure. So you draw the sword and you cast light on it. So roll 2d6 plus your intelligence.
It's 8.
Yeah. So it lights up. I'm going to say that you're not going to be able to cast that spell again, because essentially you're using it not necessarily to light something up, but to make something magical. So that kind of taps that out of you. But now you are essentially holding a magical sword. So I want you to roll hack and slash. That's going to be 2d6 plus your strength. Does anyone want to help? And if so, how?
Chauncey, do you want me to do it? I'm a good swordsman, or just... I don't want you to get...
Chauncey can do this. And that's exactly how I'm going to help, by saying, Chauncey can do this.
Okay.
And maybe shouting a couple instructions about how to swing it properly.
Chauncey, add +1 to your roll based on the belief that Vil has in you.
10!
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah!
Chauncey, the child wizard that grew 50 feet tall, Chauncey, the prospective knight of Prospect, kind of bravely strides forth towards the shadows, takes the sword, and Chauncey will describe what happens.
I remember seeing some other people at the academy playing a ball game where they swung at it with a stick, and I wind up vaguely using the advice from Vil to hold it a little more steady than usual, though I have my doubts about that, and I swing through what I see.
Well.
You take a couple of swipes through it.
With my mouth, I make the sound. Wow. Wow.
Why is he making that noise?
Why is he making... Yeah, right.
I don't know what that noise is referencing.
Is it a reference?
I don't know. It feels like it should be.
Looks like someone's tending the garden. It took me a while.
And you pass this glowing sword through kind of that bubble of smoke a couple of times, and it starts to kind of dissipate, and kind of sink down and start seeping into the earth. Raz, I want you to roll 2d6 plus wisdom again, and tell me what you get.
Oh, 5.
Okay. So your immediate instinct is to cast Sanctify on the ground, to try to purify this as it's kind of sneaking into the soil. But you realize you're not actually kind of casting it on anything. Whatever this thing is now in retreat somewhere into the ground. So Chauncey, Raz, Ronaldo, Vil, through the combination of all of your efforts, you have, if not destroyed this thing, driven it far away, and it will at some point be another problem for another day and maybe another group of adventurers.
I
But as
guess
for-
we did it.
Good job.
I really was hoping that would land. It's been such a week.
So you actually, let's use this music here. Perfect. So all of you are kind of looking. There's a rather ugly kind of 8-foot diameter or 10-foot diameter, charred circle of ground with lots of dead corn stalks in it, and then this smoky kind of burnt smell. But about 10 feet away from that is a brigand of some kind, completely hogtied by Vil.
Can I inspect the decay and destruction of the remnants of the smoky thing to ascertain something more about it, what its origin could have been magically or whatever,
Or how to fix the corn.
or how to fix the corn? I mean,
Sure.
Vil, I was just gonna try and pay. I was gonna give them some money to replace their lost crops, but
The corn. Well, it's too late to plant new stalks now, but maybe that'll help them next year.
that is a fair point. That is a fair point that I did not consider. Chauncey, put that. I will disarm you.
Ronaldo, 2d6 plus wisdom to discern realities.
That is an 8.
That's a partial success. You can ask one question off the discern realities list.
Right. What is? What is useful here? Like, should I be looking at? I guess it's either one of those.
The glass vial.
That's a good idea. And I pick up the glass vial, and I obviously shattered cork out, and I want to start inspecting it.
You do. Ronaldo, there is a little crest stamped into it. Which means that this thing came from some house or some company. Ronaldo, you recognize it. So I'm going to need you to just roll a straight 2d6.
Okay.
On a 10 plus, this is good news. On a 7 to 9, it is medium news. And on a 6 or less, this is bad news.
It's a 3. This is very bad. Oh no.
The Mackay family crest is on this vial.
No, Ronaldo, that's your name.
I know.
He's Mackay. Oh no.
No, this is a family thing.
Oh.
There's 4 Mackays, and he's one of them.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what's true.
Do you know the person who's been hogtied?
No, I don't know. I go up to the person who's been hogtied.
I go
still holding the shard.
I flip her over with my foot.
Really nice work, Vil, by the way. Very nice work. This is
Thank
probably your
you.
finest hogtie.
It's way better than the ones you did on everyone else.
That's really nice.
Ronaldo, you don't know this person. She's probably 20s, tall, in good shape. Looks like she works for a living, either as a thief or a mercenary or somebody. Sure. But no, it's not anyone in your house, that's for sure.
So who hired you? Nameless brigand? I'm not going to give you... I don't want to know your name.
Yeah, you brigand.
Yeah, brigand. Who hired you? What were their names?
In my business, I'm paid for discretion. I'm not just going to name a name.
Well,
Listen, I sit down on top of her. I've been in this business before. I know how it works. I hold Hobie above her head. Now, if you don't want my duck to bring the pain, you better tell us who sent you right now.
2d6 plus charisma. I'm also going to give you a +1 because Hobie is looking particularly menacing.
He sure is. She doesn't even want to know what Hobie's about to do to her.
Oh, she's gonna get it now.
It's an
Bit by a
8.
duck.
I don't have a name. He didn't offer me a name. What he offered me was a job, and he offered me this vial. This person then begins describing someone in a fairly good amount of detail. This description, Ronaldo, sounds exactly like one of your father's butlers.
Okay. This is Sergio. That's interesting. Why would Sergio do that?
Ronaldo, I have a tough question to ask you.
Uh-huh.
Based on the events of last week, is your father trying to kill you?
No! Is he?
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 Wait, you guys, is he?
Is he?
I don't
know.
Who are you asking?
Wait, what was the job you were hired to do? What was the job exactly that you were hired to do? And I put my finger right on his chest. Or their chest, sorry. Poke.
Well, this person, Sergio, apparently is his name, told me that the land that this farmhouse is on actually belongs to someone else. And the residents of this farmhouse need to leave so that the owner could take it.
Who? Who does they own? I'm too angry. Hobie, take over.
Who does they own?
Who owns? Well,
Who they owns?
are you saying that the person who owns this land sent you here?
The person that owns the land, or someone that's working for them? Yes.
So,
It
so
wasn't
then we can
just
ask
this.
Wilma.
If this didn't work, I was going to do some other things to try to scare people off.
Well, that
Wait,
won't
the
be
person
necessary.
who owned the land hired you to destroy the land?
To scare off the people in this farmhouse.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, luckily we don't scare easy.
Well, I think this is a good time to throw this person in jail. I think we know exactly who we need to talk to, and it's my least favorite butler.
Or what if we offered this person some money to do some bidding of our own? Eh?
I do like that.
You got money.
I love when Raz does that with his eyebrows, so I think that we
Yeah,
should
I
do
think
it.
we should always do whatever he says when he does that.
Sometimes it leads us down the wrong path, but it's just so good.
It's great and it's
Look.
fun.
All I'm saying is, she's obviously just a hardworking mercenary. She didn't do anything wrong.
She did
She's
a
got
great
some
job.
good potions. She's got some great stuff in those vials.
To try
Phil,
and
did you say that you wanted to
commit
talk
property damage.
to Wilma?
Yes.
Are all of you involved now in this scheme?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so all of you, plus Wilma, plus Hobie, are all, kind of sitting around one of the tables in the Elkcrest farmhouse.
Mhm.
And you kind of bring her up to speed on everything that the last 10 minutes have entailed.
Do we
And-
bring the brigand with us?
If you want to.
I actually go to find the two bullies that I wrote down in my notebook to see if they're whispering some more.
Chauncey, we'll deal with you first. You find them, you get into a good vantage point, and they are, in fact, whispering.
I'm gonna discern realities.
Sure. 2d6 plus wisdom.
4.
Gotcha. Well, they, you essentially are, your vantage point is great, but out of earshot because they are exceptional whisperers. And so you get closer and closer and closer until eventually you find yourself standing right next to them, at which case they stop their whispering and look at you and say, "Hey, aren't you that wizard that got really big?"
You mean that Chauncey the Great and Tall that everyone has definitely been calling him?
Well, I haven't heard that, but yeah, I think the Chauncey part's right, sure. We could call you that if you want, if you're him.
All
if
right.
you're him, we'll do whatever.
It's me. I'm Chauncey the Great and Tall.
Oh, Chauncey the Great. Oh, boy, we love you. We heard that you got really big.
Thank you. I have temporarily lit my sword. You two, I had a bad impression. Can I tell you a secret? Listen, I'm sort of a lieutenant for Archbishop Bazia now. She told me to keep my eyes and ears open. And you two, now that I'm closer, you might not have noticed me before. I was very stealthily on that hill over there. You two seem like a couple of stand-up gents. So if you would do me a favor and just keep your eyes and ears open for any kind of whisperings, magics, any shadowy kind of work, then you would be doing Chauncey the Great and definitely Tall a really big favor.
Sure. Roll 2d6 plus your charisma. +1 for the glowing sword.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh! 13! I wink at them a lot. I'm not great at it, but it just keeps going.
So, Chauncey, here's how this is going to work. You now have, and you can write this down on your sheet, we can call it the Tower Town Children's Whispering Network. Because you, a fellow child, are apparently one of the most famous people in Tower Town, other children want to be in your crew. So,
wow.
Anytime from here on out you discern realities about something Tower Town related, you're going to get a +1. And let's...
I clap him on the back.
We're on it, boss! And they sprint out, they deliver one more wedgie to someone on the way out, and then they begin their campaign of statecraft. Meanwhile, at the table, the rest of you, plus Wilma and Hobie and the Brigand, are all sitting around. Wilma, you've brought her up to speed. And she kind of looks at you and says, yeah, well, technically the owner of the farmhouse was my father and now me. Yeah. But the land it belongs to is technically someone else's. Whoever the landlord is, they have never come by. Well, until recently, when I got a letter saying that the farmhouse was going to be repurposed.
Who signed the letter?
Well, I have it. Hold on. And she kind of takes it out of her pocket and spreads it out. It is Ronaldo Francis Mackay III.
Oh, Ronaldo, he has the same exact name as you.
That's my dad, yeah.
Oh my God.
And his dad was also...
Your dad named you the same exact thing as his own name?
Yeah, yes.
Does that get confusing in your house? When everybody says Ronaldo and 3 of you turn around?
Well, only 2 of us are alive, but still, yes.
Oh, right, humans. Well, okay. Anyway, Wilma, maybe we can talk to him for you, or find out what the new purpose is for the repurposing.
She agrees for you to kind of be her representatives in this. Essentially, what had happened was she got this letter a couple of months ago, and she didn't respond to it because the work of the farmhouse is so important. And then another letter came offering money to kind of relocate the people, like some small stipend, but it wouldn't have been enough to rebuild the farmhouse somewhere else. And also there's something hugely important about this location to Wilma. This is what her father has built.
Yes.
And then apparently there was... a week ago, and actually it's all coming together for you now, Vil. About a week ago, there were a couple of cows that were stolen, which has never happened. And then apparently today, there was a manufactured magical crop blight that you all saved the farmhouse from. So apparently this has been kind of a war of escalation for the past 2 months. and Wilma hasn't told a soul about it. Except for, according to Wilma, Hobie. She confided a lot of this in Hobie.
That explains why Hobie was clearly he knew everything was about to happen.
He did. Hobie. Well, I can't blame you for keeping Wilma's secret. But I wish you would have told me. I could have helped sooner. Before that innocent corn had to perish.
Right.
Well, I think there's only one thing left to do. We have to murder Ronaldo's dad.
No, that's not. I can talk to him. I can talk to him.
If you think that would work, that'd be great.
I don't think it'll work, but I can talk to him.
Okay.
I just don't want my dad to die. He hasn't done anything.
That's a conflict of interest.
Should I not talk to him? Should I just be there?
Maybe. I walked into the room and I said, well, maybe I could do it.
Okay, no, I think Ronaldo should talk to him. That
Okay.
plan is sounding good to me.
Because you, kind of caught this mercenary, kept her alive, treated her kindly, and said that you would pay her to work with you, she essentially furnishes you with all the information she has. A description of where she and Sergio met. Wilma gives you the letter. You have, beyond a reasonable doubt, absolute proof that Ronaldo, your father, hired someone to drive off the tenants. So let's...
That's fantastic.
Brigand, I have a plan for you.
Is your name Brigand, or do you have another name as well? Brigand is lovely.
It's a really nice name.
My name is Erica.
Erica Brigand. Got it.
Sure.
I think you should work at the Mackay Estate. I think you should work for me at the Mackay Estate. I'm not always there, but I would love for you to be a gigantic, sneaky thorn in the side of my father, who we are going to talk to and make sure he doesn't do these things. But I need you to be a very proper and astute, personal hand servant of mine. But really, I just want you to make his life slightly worse.
Erica agrees to this decidedly non-violent kind of chicanery. And
plus, you'll get me some information on what other plans he's doing, because apparently he has other plans that I didn't know about. I'm not mad.
She agrees. So on your character sheet, just note that you now have a henchman named Erica, and I will provide I'll provide some stats for Erica the Brigand next time. Let's
Hey,
cut
Ronaldo,
ahead.
quick question.
Yes.
Your dad is trying to give you the estate, right? So if you took over the estate, wouldn't you be able to prevent all this stuff from happening?
You see what he's doing, though, right? He's not
Right.
trying to kill me. He's trying to trap me into doing exactly what he wants, which he always does. And he doesn't
Right.
care if other people get hurt, which is also pretty bad. I would define that as a bad quality. I don't know why I'm...
That's
This is
probably why he's trying to repurpose the Elk Crest farmhouse, because he knows that we learn invaluable skills here, like how to set traps and what to eat so you don't poop for 3 days.
Yeah, that was... Yeah. I felt really bad for Gregory when he did that.
And how to make paper airplanes.
Yeah,
Well,
that is a
yeah.
good thing that we have learned here. We
Yeah.
have learned that a lot.
Yeah, we're all really great at that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I teach all the local kids how to use weapons. I mean, you can't put a price on community like that.
Can I disarm Chauncey? Can I attempt to disarm Chauncey's fake sword?
You disarm Chauncey.
Ah!
I disarm
Stop that.
Ronaldo and give it back to Chauncey.
Hey!
You disarm Ronaldo and get back to Chauncey.
Aha!
So, some hours go by, and Ronaldo IV, you are sitting in Ronaldo III's study, Is the rest of the gang with you in the house?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you're all kind of gathered around in this study. There's drinks and food brought out for everybody.
The
I'd like
risotto's so good.
Right?
I'd
It's
like
a delicious dish.
I would like to try and get everybody to look really intimidating.
Everyone is in their own way. Raz, you're kind of in your vestments. You are a man of faith, and Chauncey, you're in your robes and heraldry of the Arcane College. Vil, you've repaired your boots and are looking as intimidating as the best shot in the Riverlands would. And Ronaldo, you are there as well. You are there as well, kind of standing, and you have kind of all of this laid out. You have all of this laid out in front of your father.
Now, Father, I feel like we've caught you doing something that is kind of illegal. And by kind of, I mean property damage is illegal in Tower Town. I just would hate for the authorities to find out and, I don't know, take away our entire fortune. That would be unfortunate.
Ronaldo is a farmer not allowed to do a controlled crop burn on land he owns?
Is a farmer not allowed to use our family crest to manufacture illegal necromantic potions? Boy, I believe necromancy is illegal in the Riverlands. Isn't that right, Raz? A member of the clergy here. I don't know.
Nice. Indeed.
That's illegal, right?
I mean, there's certainly moral and ethical issues with this code of conduct.
That would be such an unfortunate thing for the authorities to find out. Oh, God forbid the Church of Enteresh. That would destroy our family name, wouldn't it?
Indeed.
Ugh, I guess you're gonna have to stop doing these things.
Son, I want you to preserve the family name, not destroy the family name. And if you disagree with my business practices, well then by all means, take over the business.
No. I will. You'll have to quite literally kill me. And then, guess what? I'm dead. So you get nothing of what you want. And you never will. If you want to become an evil, maniacal person that I always suspected you might be, that's your prerogative, Father. But frankly, I just think you are trying to be a conniving person to win a game that you aren't thinking about other people for. And frankly, it's sad. So, cut it out. Or I'll ruin us.
Okay. He stands up and kind of takes the fire poker and stokes the fire a little bit and stares into it. You have, Ronaldo, made a very compelling argument. So I want you to roll, Ronaldo, 2d6 plus your... actually, yes, this is technically going to be parlay. 2d6 plus your charisma. I'm going to give you a +1 because of the kind of the power of your speech, and the fact that you presented all the evidence in the world that your father was behind this.
7, just barely. Thank you for that +1.
So, on a 7 to 9, it's a partial success, meaning your father will agree to what you want, which is to not threaten the farmhouse anymore. But he wants something from you. And Ronaldo, I'm going to leave that up to you.
Yeah.
What does Ronaldo III demand as a promise from you, Ronaldo IV?
My allowance. He no longer will give me as much money as I have. Though I have plenty stored, it just will be a little trickier.
Oh my God.
He agrees. He stands up and says, fine. You need more time then. And if you need more time, you'll get more time. But you won't get a penny more until you decide it's time to take on your birthright.
Well, that's real unfortunate because if I don't have that money, I guess I have no incentive to really come back here anymore, huh?
Yeah, no, thanks for
No incentive that has revealed itself to you yet. Makai's always come back. That's what we do. We look after our own. And until you realize that, all I can do is wish you luck in your adventures.
Well, you have a funny way of looking after your own for actually, coming very close to actually killing me. So I'm going to take your glass of wine and I'm going to take it for the road. Friends, do we have any other last intimidating things you want to say to my bastard of a father?
I stand up to
thank
follow
you.
out Ronaldo, and I take out my hunting knife and I say, Knights of Prospect take care of their own as well. And I stick my hunting knife into his coffee table.
Goonk. And we will end it right there. So, good work, everybody. Demons, tentacles, family drama. There was plenty to it. So thank you all, prospective Knights of Prospect. And thank you all to those of you watching. The Knights of Prospect are here every week on Twitch at Knights of Prospect at Mondays at 6 until we tell you otherwise. Please follow us on Facebook and subscribe on Twitch so you could stay current. And if you're in the mood for more comedy tonight, we recommend checking out Run On at 9 p.m., also on Twitch at 2MB Studios. Thank you very much, everyone, and good night from the prospective Knights of Prospect.